people step up to the criteria that we set. She's a clean up woman, and she's a woman who take all the men while women leave behind. Male kind doesn't get better when women don't have standards. Hello knockouts, Tonya TKO here, and I'm popping in and out really quickly. I want to make a video about something that's been on my mind, and it's not politically correct to say, but I feel like we need to have this conversation. I feel like all points have been leading to where it is that we are right now. And we're going to be talking about Black women's notoriously low requirements for relationship and why Black women are not collectively and societally seen as the quote-unquote prize, and what we can do about that. So we're going to jump right into the video. I'm going to tell you why I haven't really been making as many videos as I could and how I can make more. All right, so right now, as you know, I live the RV life. I'm on the road. As you see, I'm in my workout clothes. I work out early in the morning. The RV lifestyle is a very sedentary lifestyle. So you have to take special care to make sure that you work out, that you move your body. Otherwise, you'll just be sitting down or just lounging all day. I mean, it sounds like it would be fun, but after a few months, you start to become really soft. And I mean, it's good to just chillax, but you have to maintain your health, your vibrancy, and your youth by working out, right? So it's really hot. I'm in the desert. And so in the morning time is the only time that I get to make videos. And if I begin to make a video after about 9 a.m. in the morning, I can't, because the AC is like really loud and I can't really make a video with all of that in the background. I could, but the sound would be just be really bad. So here I am in my workout clothes. I just came inside. The morning time is when I go out to get my morning jog, right? And I was looking into this Lamar Odom story, and I want to talk with you all about that. But the original video is 40 minutes, so I need to go and watch that original video and chop it up to the most important parts that I want us to look at. So just give me a day or two on that, because I'm going to be watching that today. But what I wanted to talk about was the requirements that Black women have, some of the pushback that I get inside of my comments from women who are fighting, oh God, fighting to raise a man up, fighting to do 50-50 or pay most of it while he gets himself together, fighting to just have any, oh God, I was going to say a person with a penis, but I don't want to go there so early in the video. Okay. As you know, I'm Tonya TKO, and I'm a self-love specialist from TonyaTKO.com. I help you learn to love yourself and each other. On this channel, we talk about popular topics as teachable moments in our own lives. So we're going to jump into the Lamar Odom story next. For those of you who don't know what's going on, I will be covering all of that in the next video. But I wanted to ask you all this question. Okay. When you think about the average white woman and what it is that she requires before you get with her, what are some of the things that come to mind? When you think of the average Asian woman, and Asia's a huge place too. So when you think of the average Asian woman and what it takes to get with her, what is it that comes to mind? And then God, you know what? Let's rewind a little bit. I remember I had this associate who, he was a business owner. He'd married a Black woman and had a child with her, and then they got divorced, and he decided to go out onto the prowl. At this point, he had a lot of money, so she was the come up woman. She was with him when, right after college, or right at the end part of college when he had nothing, and she worked with him and he built up this business, and then he got the money and he was featured in magazines and all of this other stuff, and then they got divorced. And what he started doing is he wanted to then have a woman that matched his success. He wanted to then get with a woman who was indicative of where it is that he was, his station in life. And so he decided that he was going to get with Caucasian women. And he was telling me about the protocol. He was like, you know what? We black men, we have such a bad reputation that when I go into these relationships with these Caucasian women, that their parents are looking at me like, who are you, bruh? And what do you want with our daughter? And he says that he has to basically announce to the parents, oh, I have this huge drink company. Um, I make money. I this, that, and the other, and he has to show and prove his worth right out the gate, right? Because there's some Caucasian chicks who, when they're younger, they want to flirt with the wild side, and some of them want to make their parents angry, and they want to dip into the coffee, so to speak, the hot coffee, dangerous, hot brew, you know. And then there are the other side of it. Once they grow up, I remember there was this girl I met when I was in Japan. And I tell these stories about real people that I know, and some of them can see my video, and people don't like it when they're spoken about, but I tell these stories as teachable moments for all of us. There was this girl I met when I was in Japan, and she had the Caucasian dreadlocks, just growing wild, and she had the bohemian look, and oh, how she loved she loved the Cote d'Ivoire, the Kenyan African men, the thin, really dark skinned one with the locks. And that's what she liked. She liked that whole look right there, right? And every time you saw her, oh, she had on the big parachute pants with the paisley print and all of the things inside of her hair and the tambourines and doing the music and going to the parties and having the speakeasies and sitting around. Oh, I really loved that. Then she got pregnant. And I don't know what happened with the dude, because she didn't want to speak about him when all was said and done. As a matter of fact, she's just started changing. She moved back in with her parents, and her parents had been a little bit, from what it is that I remember her saying, her parents had been a little bit kind of racisty. That's kind of what sent her out into this kumbaya, let's love the world, I don't see color, except the only men she dated were black, so she must have seen some sort of color. But anyway, so she was kumbaya and just, and then she got pregnant, and then she moved back home with her little tan skinned baby with the little curly fluffy fro. And the last time I saw her, those locks were shaved the hell out. Her hair was straight, and she was dressed in corporate clothing. I didn't know who she was. And then, she was like, her life hadn't, she sounded different, everything was different, she moved into a whole other direction. We lost touch. She couldn't be bothered with her black friendships anymore. That was the last I saw of her. Her hair was now straight, and she was in business attire. And I was like, I guess her parents wasn't playing that shit. So back to the story. So there's that type of white chick who flirts on the wild side when she's young. And then there's the other white women who they embrace the Euro-American culture. They enjoy being white, and a man who comes to them is going to have to go through the same, especially if you're a quote unquote other, you're gonna have to go through the same rigors as anyone else. They have their standards, right? And then when you think of a Caucasian woman, so he was telling me, oh, you have to, and he enjoyed it. The crazy part about us black women is, we listen to these broke dudes talking about, oh, you're gold diggers, you're gold diggers. If you want a man who can be able to protect and provide, to be able to carry it himself and a family, they're like, you're the gold diggers. And I even remember when I did that video about the young lady who was talking about she wants a man to come out on the first date paying her bills. They were like, oh, she's a gold digger. I'm like, no, that's not gold digging. Gold digging, and I need to do a whole video about this. Apparently, gold digging is a standard lifestyle of a woman who is attracted to a man of means, and they have long-term committed relationship with men with means. The means is like money. The means, the resources, is a part of what they find attractive. And if you don't have resources, or you lose your resources, your level of attraction fades and depletes. And it's like we go around and we get tricked by these men who are like, use a gold digger if you want somebody who can provide for at least even just his damn self. To want a man who, it's like you come into the relationship with all of your femaleness and the expectations that come along with you being a woman, especially when children are brought into the picture. How you're expected to caretake and this and take care of him emotionally and do this, that, and the other, and then still pay half of the bills too, so that when, if the line is drawn in the middle and you're doing all of this, the upkeep of the house and all this other stuff, your 50% goes way over his. So if all he's bringing to the table is 50% of the bills, you're doing way more than him. So let's roll back, because this video is really about Black women and our expectations. So we end up getting fooled by these men. But these same men, if you are not looking like a dime piece, do we still use that term anymore? If you're not looking like a dime piece, or if you a little soft around the center, or if you have discoloration around your neck, or if you don't have your nails done and you're this and you're that, if you're not young and fruitful and all this other stuff, if you're not slim thicky and all this big booty and slim waist, and if you're not all of those things, they're not interested. And if they are temporarily interested, it's because they're interested because that's what they could get for where it is that they are for their station in life. But when they get more, they want more. And the crazy part about it is, and you know what? I did that course, Will My Man Be Wealthy? And a lot of people have gotten that course. The course is getting rave reviews. And so get that course and look into what are the real characteristics of a man who is on his way to success. Because we listen to these men who don't really have a clue about what success truly is or how to get there. And we let them convince us that, first of all, that they are on their way to success, and you yourself don't know the characteristics that a man who is truly on his way possesses. So you fall for the okey doke, and then he's with you for the time being, and then when he can do better, guess what happens to you? You get tossed out. So like I was saying, I only date men with means. I attract men with means. I'm turned off by men who do not have means. And I look for certain characteristics which are all stated inside of that course. And it just comes naturally. Like other women who married well, like I like they've gotten the course and they're like, you know what? This actually validated what it is. Like one person said, look, before I married my husband, I didn't even realize that these were the things that I was naturally looking out for. So that course, listen, if you're a Black woman or a woman who just does not know what to look for, please get that course, please, right? So from being with men who have money, I'm going to tell you this secret, right? Men who have money love, listen to what it is that Mia say. They love women who love men who have money. A man who has money does not want a woman who anybody can get. Listen to what it is that I'm saying. If Raheem and them can run up in, that's not the one that he wants. He wants a woman who is exclusive. He wants a woman who has standards. He wants a woman whose standards are so rigorous that she wants a man like him. And the thing is that we go out there and we get fooled. We get fooled by these men who have less. And we market our we get ourselves out of the market. We market ourselves out because we don't realize that if only we had standards, those standards would be appreciated. Like, men who have money do not complain about women who are gold diggers. Listen, there are certain characteristics that a man has that will lead him to abundance. This is what I'm saying. Get the course that I made. It's very inexpensive. The course is what? It's $49.99. An amazing investment that will offset you from wasting a lot of time with a person who doesn't have what it takes to go to the finish line. And then if this person attracted you in their bummy days, right? Many of us think that they're going to come around and be loyal to us and be like, oh, I'm so loyal, he'll never leave me. But then if you know, like, male nature, and if you know how a man needs to feel like a man, you already know what's going to happen and how he phases you out once he can do better. So listen, if you're the cleanup woman, the pickup woman, the come up woman, just know that it's the law of supply and demand. Anybody who's taken a college economics course knows this. That if ramen noodles are the best that you can do for where your income is at a certain point, right? As your income increases, the demand for the inferior goods, quality, and people decreases. So as income increases, the demand, the desire for inferior goods decreases in tandem with that. Okay? So when you think about a Caucasian woman and what it is that she requires in order to be able to get into her graces, right? Because we live in a country that's majority Caucasian, there may not be one simple standard because there are different classes of people. So if you think about a middle class Caucasian woman who has a good relationship with her parents, whose father is in the picture, what do you think it is that she's going to require? She's going to require a man who's going to need to have something, need to be able to provide something, right? When you think about an Asian woman, if you think about, like, if you were to think about wanting to get with an Asian woman, Japan, let's say, like the middle upper class, if you would like Japan, middle upper class, Indian, what do you think that you would need? Now, I can imagine that the barriers to entry into an Indian household is a lot more rigorous. Like, I'm sure that there are ethnic things that have to be in place. I'm sure that there are financial things that need to be in place. Go watch some of these Bollywood movies. They're not even quiet or secret about it. It's like you have to have something. It's like women are not naturally hypergamous, and certain cultures lend to the hypergamy even being enforced by their parents, right? So when you think about an African American woman, what do you think are some of the things, as a life coach and as a person who interviews and talks to a lot of men, I can tell you what it is that I hear behind the scenes. The number one complaint that I hear behind the scenes when men are attempting to get with Black women and they are denied entry, denied access. I want you all you know what? I'm going to give you a few seconds to take the survey below. I want to see what your answers are going to be before I give the answer. Tell me in the comments, what do you think is the number one complaint that they have, that they say, oh, Black women don't like me because XYZ. Oh, I need to have XYZ in order to be able to get with a Black woman. Oh, I tried to get in, but she was like, are you lost? Right? Tell me in the comments. I want to see. I'm going to check inside the comments to see if you got the answer right. I'm going to tell you. The number one complaint that I hear from men, which is the barrier to entry for Black women, is swagger, being cool, being hip, having that je ne sais quoi, that movement, that flow, that street charisma. That's what that. So that they know, look, I gotta go back to the drawing board. I gotta do something. I want to get with these Black women. I gotta go find me some swag. And I'm like, Ladies, we control that. We control our perception out there. We control what people think of what it is that they need to have. And unfortunately, you know what? I'll say this, right? Ooh, I just had an epiphany while I was making this video. I just had an epiphany. So there are people who are like, oh, well, Black women's standards are so low that if I can't compete with people of my own race, right? If I can't compete with them, I'll go here, right? And the same goes, I just had this epiphany, the same goes for certain Caucasian women. Because, there's a standard that Caucasian men have, a standard of fitness, a standard of you need to be the right shape and all this other stuff. Like, they're not checking for you if you pass a certain size, right? So the women who can't make the cuts in their own arena, then they're like, well, let me shift over to where I do make the cut, right? Where I will be the prize, where I will be prized. And where do they go? Listen, I don't want to be politically correct or incorrect in this video, but you know what? I'll go ahead and say it anyway. You could attack me if you want to. Some of them turn to Black men because they're like, oh, Black men like them a little bit bigger anyway. Oh, I got this white skin, and that's what is that? It's a commodity. I got this white skin. They like that. I got the genetic coding in my womb to be able to produce mixed children. I got that. I may be a big. I may not have all of this. I got some money. I got that honey with the genetic coding. And I know that they'll go crazy over me. Even though my own men are not going crazy over me, I know that I can go henceforth over hither, over thither. And I know that I'll be treated like a prize, or I know that I'll have a person who come around. I know that I have a person who can produce children with me. I know. Right? So Black women, listen. Oh my goodness. I just had another epiphanies. Another one, right while I was making this video. Oh my goodness. So then I started thinking now, all right. So not only will other men be like, well, you know what? I know that I don't have what it takes to make it with my own women. So, let me turn towards a Black woman. Oh, but then there are Black men who do this too, which brings us all full circle to the Lamar Odom talk. And just stay tuned for that video because I want to dive, oh my gracious, like those pants, the outdoor pants that I wear in New York when it's cold, like the coveralls. I want to dive, I want to get my foot, I want to dive all deep into that video and I want to break it down for you all. So just like that. So when they can do better, they do better. And better for them is a Caucasian cutie. Well, sometimes not even cute, but is a Caucasian woman, white woman. Right? Oh, better is that. But then if something happens, if she tosses me out, if I become addicted to cocaine and I can't make it, I'm face down, dilapidated, and need to be revived back to life. And I ain't got no money. I'm broken down. I got a whole bunch of babies, like some of these football players out in Europe. I got a whole bunch of babies now. And now that I'm all broken up and dilapidated, my hairline pushed way back, and my penis don't even work. Now, here we go back to the Black woman. She's a clean up woman. And she's a woman who take all the men while women leave behind. And the reason I know so much about her. All right, you know what? I done got foolish now. Let me jump out of this video. Listen. Listen, 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 listen. Please, no be shame. Don't be ashamed to have standards. Well, I guess we do have a standard. Our standard is swag. Our standard is swag. You gotta have swag. You gotta be able to walk with that swag, baby. You gotta, you get the egg. Listen, we gotta do better than this. We gotta do better than this. Because if we are notorious for just for swag being our criteria for mating, oh God. We don't, but you know what, the thing about it is, look, I get it. And then also, if we were to flip onto the flip side of it, I get it, because ADOS, and which is American Descendants of Slavery, right? There was never a time in history where men didn't have access to us. It's like we didn't have the ability to create our own marketing and PR, or our PR and marketing was set for us that we were easily accessible. Anybody, especially any Caucasian man, could do whatever it is that he wanted to with our body and womb. And then we would get bred out to black men as well. So there was never that. Remember when I was telling you earlier in the video that men who have money appreciate and love women who love men who have money, because they require a certain something from that man, from men. However, there was never really a point in American history where black women were positioned as this thing that was off limits. If anything, anyone could run up in whenever they wanted to. However, in this day and age, we have to control our own marketing. Excuse me. We have to create barriers to entry which are more than just swag. And the crazy part about it is that when we uplift our marketing, when we change our branding, our societal branding, people step up to the criteria that we set. So if the criteria is one way, we have control over how that's seen. But then, we have women now fighting. They fight in the comments to be the lowest cleanup woman that they can. Fighting to be able to, and oh God, fighting to be able to pick up, clean up, and dust off men. And the crazy part about it is that male kind doesn't get better when women don't have standards. Male kind gets better. Like, if you want black men to step up, make it a requirement that your neighborhoods need to be safe. Make it a requirement that they need to come with the bag. Make it a requirement that they need to come with education. Because the requirement that we have is that they have swag. I laugh every time I say that, because swag is also, like, in the industry circle, in the Hollywood circle, swag is actually gifts and resources, like in the bags. They have swag in the bags, like the gifts that they give away at the Emmys and stuff. That's called swag. But nonetheless, but to think the irony of how swag takes all gifts and resources out of the picture to just equal street charisma, it's ironic and funny to me. And I think that we as black women, we as women, we have to do better. We have to do better. We are the ones that are in control of our marketing. But then also, like we were talking about in the beginning of the video, there are other things that we need to do to make sure that we're taking care of our health, taking care of our sanity, our mental health, our physical health, psychological health, all of that, our uterine health, and keeping ourselves pristine so that when we go out to market, we can demand top value. On that note, I'm going to look for your questions below. Go out there or your comments below. Go out there and love one another. But most importantly, what? That's right, love yourself. And part of loving yourself is demanding the best for you. Demanding the best for you. All right, Tonya TKO, and I'm out. Peace.